You are watching AYV Television.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime News on your home of credible, factual and balanced news, AYV Radio and Television. I am Tholoma Sumah. Here are the headlines.
FORUD distributes learning and teaching materials to 24 non-government assisted schools in Potloko and Moyamba districts.
Given that FORUD is a development organization, we are complementing the effort of government.
Parliament to debate 3 constitutional instruments on the setup of the Commission of Inquiry.
We've been at this for some time now. I've already indicated before my inclination to agree to a debate.
And National Protected Area Authority signs a memorandum of understanding with the Sierra Leone Estuary coastal communities for co-management.
Sierra Leone Estuary, not a western area, no do. It covers western area and also put local districts.
Now for the full news with Tholoma Sumah.
The Foundation for Rural and Urban Transformation, FORUT, has distributed learning and teaching materials to 24 non-government assisted schools in Potloko and Moyamba districts. The organization also donated 44 bicycles to teachers living far off the schools they teach. According to the director of FORUT, the donation is to complement government's efforts towards the free education and to make non-government assisted schools feel part of the free education scheme. Here is the report.
The government's free education scheme does not encompass private schools and non-government assisted schools. FORUT, a non-governmental organization, has therefore reached out to more than 3,000 pupils in Potloko and Moyamba districts. The donated items include textbooks on core subjects, exercise books, pens, pencils and geometry sets, among others. The director for FORUT, William Dauda, said this is to complement government efforts.
Given that FORUT is a development organization, we are complementing the effort of government. So we want to ensure that these schools that have not been approved by government, that are not benefiting from the government free quality school education, also get some support in order to provide quality teaching to the pupils in those schools.
Capacitating tutors is key to attaining quality education. To ensure this, FORUT donated teaching materials to every teacher in the 24 schools. The materials include school registers, ledger books to prepare lesson notes, and chalks, among others. In addition, 44 bicycles were donated to 44 tutors. But what is the rationale behind this?
They have been provided with bicycles. This is to ensure that they move from their places to the schools in time so that they will be able to teach the pupils and stay in school. So this is part of the motivation and in support of quality education in the schools we are supporting. So these are some of the support we are providing and for which we are in different communities today.
School authorities thanked FORUT for their kind gesture. They, however, said their schools face a series of challenges ranging from lack of salaries and subsidies to understaffing and lack of proper school buildings. In rural areas like this support comes as a vital intervention. Tholoma Sumah, AYV News, Moyamba District.
The National Protected Area Authority has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Sierra Leone Estuary coastal communities for co-management. The MOU is to protect the wetlands and to give power to the community members to be part of the project and implementation activities of wetland areas. Bokari Matia has the story.
Addressing the communities, the acting director of the National Protected Area Authority, Kate Karimu Garnett, stated that protecting biodiversity and wild conservation cannot be achieved alone. She emphasized that these coastal communities are key in the drive.
Sierra Leone Estuary, not a western area, no do. It covers western area and also put local districts. We have to make sure say we end them together. You know the left, I know the left you. Together, now we the water and make sure say this the coastal side, we protect them.
The MOU is to get river
Paramount chiefs in Nongowat, Small Bo, Niwawa, Bari and Koya chiefdoms in Keneman Pujam districts have guaranteed their support to redeem the Campbell Hills from encroachment and destruction. The Paramount Chiefs made this commitment at the National Protected Area Authorities event organized in Kenema to reclaim the Campbell Hills boundaries. Judge Philip Jambawai was there and now reports.
Campbell Hill is one of the 33 protected areas in Sierra Leone, established in 1919. It runs through Nongowa, Smallbo, Nyawa, Bayi, and Kwea chiefdoms, which are in Pujam and Kenema district. Campbell Hills had about 14,000 hectares of coverage, but these have been extremely reduced and damaged due to encroachment and other human activities. The National Protected Area Authorities, having the legal mandate to manage the network of 15 wildlife protected areas, including the Campbell Hills, had a day's engagement with these authorities representing the 5 Campbell Hills chiefdoms in Kenema and Pujam district. The meeting in Kenema was meant to liberate the Campbell Hills.
We are the communities then, and the chiefdoms then we then border this Campbell Hill Forest Reserve. And I make we bring it all come together today for let's discuss about the forest, the importance, and how to move forward for managing forest. Because over the years we don't see now people that don't encroach in them, and the forest is shrink small. So one for make sure we begin for manage effectively. So we call them and we all want to work together, not to win no more. We want to let the community they get ownership over the management of the forest.
It might be difficult, but these traditional authorities have given their support.
The whole, we're all very supportive of this move, and it would be a good idea that we preserve the forest where we get. There are species in there where maybe tourists go want for come see. It could be a tourist attraction. It could be species that they way maybe we Grand Pekin and go come and see them. If we not protect them now, maybe by the time when they come, then species not go there.
So if it works as planned, in 2 weeks, these authorities and NPAA staff will have to trace the colonial boundary and physically assess the current status of the hill to make final decision on its protection. George Philip Jambawai, AYV, Bo.
The Sierra Leone National Petroleum Company, NP, has extended operation center at the Mambo community, Western Peninsula, Freetown. This was an initiative of 2 local people who decided to bring development to the community, though financially was not strong. But with the intervention of NP, the investment has been established, making it the 38th NP station in Sierra Leone. The opening ceremony was graced with presence of community stakeholders and management of NP. Kobe Walker is the general manager of the Sierra Leone National Petroleum Company.
I wish I've been on the TINAP before. Because if I've been eating up, I'm not going to short the car short. So.
That was the general manager of the Sierra Leone National Petroleum, Kobe Walker, explaining how far the company has come.
But when I come Mambo, I immediately see we can deliver 3 things in this community. 3 E's, letter E, now we will deliver by this community as NP. The first E, we were able to deliver by this community by empowerment. We see the community, I believe, say, we for come and empower with people there. And the more we really think about them, we realize, say, if we empower the people of Mambo, we go to the ghetto and take with brothers them and sisters them out. We go create expansion. We go expand at the second E. We go expand with entry into the country. We will come and conquer new territory.
What does this mean to community people? Some of the residents express gratitude over the development.
I tell people and plenty thank you for this wonderful things. You see, anything, blessing, development, you get time. And I really take God thank you. All the development I will start so now through me already.
Really, we graduate for this filling station because that other filling station we did in St. Michael and really fear ki don't they will kill 12 for 5 here. They will kill the pass will go by Jebo and that Jebo they go by so that money they go put no way will get her. So they make them will graduate for this place here. We graduate.
This establishment is a sign that rural townships like Mambo are opening up to development. Lucian Kulanda, AYV News, Freetown.
The Ministry of Health and Sanitation, in collaboration with the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention, is on a two-day international conference on the prevention and control of malaria. The conference, which is currently ongoing at the Bintumani Hotel in Freetown, is aimed at mapping out strategies that will help eradicate malaria in the country. Swalio Vandi has more.
Malaria is one of the world's leading killer diseases. It kills more than 1 million people globally every year. This unfortunate situation has left both local and international organizations with no option but to join hands in the fight against malaria. The Ministry of Health and Sanitation, in collaboration with the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention, is on a two-day international conference on the prevention and control of malaria in Sierra Leone. The conference, which is presently ongoing at the Bintumani Hotel in Freetown, is aimed at mapping out strategies that will help eradicate the disease in the country. Zion Nin is the Chinese CDC representative to Sierra Leone. He speaks on how long China has been providing medical support to the country.
Since the Ebola outbreak, China CDC team deployed in these countries. We love these countries. It's very nice people and love countries. And we are continuous to support the malaria disease surveillance system and also public health systems. So it's our China CDC missions from now on and will go forward. As you know, the eradication of the malaria is our global goal. We will achieve it.
The Deputy Minister of Health and Sanitation, Dr. Anthony Augustine Sandi, who was the keynote speaker at the event, had this to say.
The bilateral relationship between Sierra Leone and China has existed for decades, and it's one that is beneficial to the two countries. China has made significant contributions to improving our health sector. The two-day international conference for malaria prevention and control is very timely and yet another milestone in Sierra Leone's progress towards fight against malaria. We all know that malaria is one of humanity's worst diseases. Each year it kills more than 1 million people worldwide, many of whom could have been saved, in view of which the Ministry, with technical support from WHO, established the National Malaria Control Program within the Directorate of Disease Prevention and Control in 1994.
Representatives from different organizations at the event promised to put their all in the fight against malaria. Swale Hovandi, AYV News, Freetown.
The Speaker of Parliament has made clarifications on the 3 constitutional instruments which set up Commission of Inquiry in their first session immediately after recess. That time started running on 2nd October for the instruments to mature. He also assured the House of a full-blown debate on the 18th October, but that did not happen. Today, a motion was moved for the instruments to be debated on Monday, 22nd October 2018, and the motion was adopted. Our parliamentary reporter Joseph Johnson filing this report.
SO82 to suspend SO51 to move that the next adjournment date be on Monday.
For permission, I will second the motion, sir. I do second the motion.
That was Honorable Chino Ba, Leader of Opposition, seconding a motion moved by Honorable Sidi Tunis, Leader of Government Business. The reason for the motion centers around the debate on the 3 constitutional instruments, which by law started running on 2nd of this month, and until now, no debate has been done on it. The Speaker of Parliament comments on this issue.
We've been at this for some time now. I've already indicated before my inclination to agree to a debate. First, on the 11th, that did not happen. We adjourned to the 18th, which is today. Again, that hasn't happened. Now a request is before us that we debate the 3 instruments on Monday. It has been moved and seconded and unfavorably disposed.
The fear in the minds of people is the maturing date for the three instruments, and surprisingly, they mature on Monday, 22nd of this month, but the Speaker allays the fears of MPs and the general public.
Just to allay the fears of everybody, including the general public. And in that regard, I would like the debate to be carried live, if possible, on television and radio. And I will also direct that the international community be invited.
If these instruments are not debated on Monday as expected by the people, then it means one thing: it becomes a law. Parliament ended up approving Amara Jambai Kane as Director General of Sierra Leone Roads Authority and two other presidential nominees, respectively. Joseph Johnson, AYV News, Freetown.
The Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, Maimunatu Prat, has said the ministry will train young women in the creative industry and tourism sector on the development of small marketing enterprise. She said this in a press briefing while updating journalists on other developing activities towards the growth of the ministry. Desmond Silla was part of that engagement and now reports.
According to the World Bank, small and medium-scale enterprises have contributed immensely to the growth and development of the global economy in terms of GDP and employment opportunities. The Minister, Maimunatu Prat, said that in collaboration with the Ministry of Trade, they will hold a workshop to train members of the creative industries on basic entrepreneurship, how to develop SME, and access funds for their operations.
Young people coming to me with proposals, good ideas. But the problem is that there is no support, So we are looking at how we can be able to start an SME program within the Ministry of Tourism and Culture for us to see how we could start to support them. But we are still in the infancy stage of those discussions because I'm still discussing with a number of people. I'm still trying to have discussions with the Hotel Association so that we can put together an event and be able to establish a seed money.
She also updated the press about a host of activities the ministry has set to embark on.
From now until December, the number of entertainment activities that have been planned is huge. But the problem is, for some of them, they haven't got the seed money. But for me, they are very good ideas because we want to encourage Sierra Leoneans to grow. We want to encourage the young people to grow. We want to give them hope. So as a result of that, that is why, in fact, we are having all of this kind of thinking.
But this has not come without challenges. The minister called on all Sierra Leoneans to portray Sierra Leone in a positive light to ensure tourists are attracted to the country. Desmond Silla, AYV News, Freetown.
Sierra Leone has been rated over the years as one of the worst countries for a woman to give birth. To tackle that, Daystar Adopt a Village, in partnership with Pekin Business, has donated prenatal supplies to the Hamilton Community Health Center in Western Area Rural. The donation is part of the ways to support the healthcare system in the country. Eja Tuja has the story.
The health of pregnant women is very important in ensuring safe delivery. Ambassador Paul Lenga is the programs and public relations person for Daystar Adopt a Village.
Of course, we have been donating prenatals right across the country to community health centers and to churches that we are working with. The purpose of giving them this prenatal is to ensure that pregnant women are healthy during their pregnancy and also to ensure that we help mitigate the rate at which malnutrition for women is going on in Sierra Leone, because be able to give aid where the need is necessary, because the government itself cannot be able to do everything on its own. So some of these donations that we are doing is just to complement the free healthcare initiative. So we encourage other Sierra Leoneans to also do this.
Adonis Abod is the chairperson for Pekin Business in Sierra Leone. He said they would continue to partner with Daystar Adopt a Village in order to provide humanitarian services around the country, especially in communities like this.
I was really appalled at the conditions under which this community center is run. There are 5 nurses They don't have light. The only connection through solar is to the fridge where they keep vaccine. It was really disheartening to see under which condition they are operating. I intend to share their problems with the Ministry of Health and Sanitation and to go to the extent of improving the facility for the good of the Hamilton community. It is the private sector's duty to cater and look after the challenges of these communities.
This help is part of supporting the health system in the country. Women and children suffer most the consequences of poor rural health infrastructure. Ija Tuja, AYV News, Freetown.
Public transportation has been a major challenge in Freetown. The hustle to move from one place to another, especially in this densely populated city, can be hectic. In this chaos, public transportation gets difficult and drivers take advantage of the situation. Often school pupils and other people get stranded on their way home or to work. Memuna Tubundu finds out how this transportation difficulty is affecting students and why drivers are exploiting the situation.
Aissatou Sherif is a pupil of St. Joseph Senior Secondary School. She said they reach home every day at around 8 p.m. and on arriving home, they are tired and cannot read their books. Paul Blah, a student of Njala University, said in the process of boarding a vehicle, they lose their properties like phones, wallets, and more. A driver explains how they have been managing the overcrowding. He explains more on this issue.
It's so funny for me because we say sometimes they say for me client maybe people in the team have the kind size safe, but at least so other people they bypass that line, they go up, they got tension, they say they pay so amount to the and we say kilo for say yes at least walking no one all day will not be able to get a passenger. We say he buy for take the other people they did or left the one in the line. So get a big tempo for the others.
Saidu Kamara, an apprentice, said the reason for exploiting the situation is because fuel price has increased and they need to make profit.
Because that's all they take halfway, now the money, because if you saw the go through, no way to get the money for buy fuel, because now fuel on there, they all that thing in there. So now that make people for no way to get money, I don't have freedom about the thing. I don't go to get.
Students and other passengers have called on the government to intervene in this situation by providing more public transportation services. Memuna Tubundu, AYV News, Freetown.
The Sierra Leone Commercial Motorbike Riders Union and its general membership have called for the completion of regional elections before Delegate Congress. The union, in a press release, has condemned the meeting held by the aggrieved suspended members of the union in Bo over the week and has requested that the due and legal process be followed if there is to be a Delegate Congress. Bokari Matia has more.
That was the atmosphere at the headquarters of the Sierra Leone Motorbike Riders Union on the opposition of the said meeting held in Bo by aggrieved suspended members over the week. According to the regional chairman, Western Area Ibrahim Thula, the union has no problem going into elections, but every legal process has to be followed as stated in the union's constitution.
We don't need great people, but we need great institutions. We need great institutions. And the institutions there, especially the bike riding, we want to see a better transformation. And that is why we are firmly behind that. The legal process should be carried out, and we get a letter, another signature from the Sierra Leone Labour Congress. Then pull a press release say we all no need for going to any elections, simply because investigations still they carry out. So we for wait until we get a final notice, we get a final meeting with the parent body or with the ministry we're responsible for investigate the matters there. So with that, we withhold, we then with peace, we still they maintain and wait. But today, if we get an information, say on the 15th, this month, when October We get some of we brother them what we call aggrieve. Then go. They say then they go conduct national delegate conference. We need elections. We need elections. We need for elect national officers.
The union resolutes that its members carry on with their usual business, calls on the general public to note that there is still only one executive body of the union and that the regional election of the North and South should hold before any general delegate election. Bokari Matia, AYV News, Freetown.
Now in business, the Ministry of Finance has launched the General Purpose Financial Statement Reporting Template. According to the ministry, this is to ensure consistent format in all reporting from agencies receiving government subvention. The International Public Sector Accounting Standard, IPSAS, template will be used for all reporting. The launch was held at the Ministry of Finance, George Street in Freetown. Mbalu Sherif was there.
The International Public Sector Accounting Standard, which will be used by different subvented agencies, require key elements like understanding, relevance, and reliability. The Accountant General Richard Williams said, "This is a very important document that will improve on accountability on public funds." Launching the financial statement template, the Principal Deputy Financial Secretary, Ministry of Finance, Matthew Dingy, said the template is a bit complex but encourage ministries, departments and agencies to practice and implement in their various offices for comprehensive reporting.
If we just come to it, we'll say, okay, that's the presentation, that's it. Even if you have a strong accounting background, if you go back, you don't use the data, the information you have in your MDs to begin to truncate them in this form of presentations and see where the missing processes are, you will still not be able to master this framework going forward. So we don't want to come back 2 years later and say we have to do this all over again because people cannot report using this guidelines. So I want to encourage all of us that we take it very seriously, and so that when we have external reviews in the future on our PFM on how strongly we are implementing the IPAS, I call it IPSAS. So it's everything know the problem and deal more with the policy issues now. And this will be able to, external evaluators will be able to see that we are actually doing our best to implement these standards and regulations on how we submit the accounts. I note also that reporting has been the challenge on our PFM. Most of the issues that come out of the accounting, the Auditor General's reports, most of the findings, most of the queries are simply because the reports themselves that we do produce are not comprehensive, they are not exhaustive, they have lots of missing information.
The ministry encourages all to take reporting very serious. That will give a strong feedback on our public financial management. Balu Sherif, AYV Business News, Freetown.
Let's now take our court update compiled by Mohamed Kai and read in the studios by Bokari Matia.
Honorable Justice Manuela Hardin, presiding over the High Court of Sierra Leone, has incarcerated 4 accused persons at the Male Correctional Center at Pademba Road in Freetown for allegedly committing capital offenses contrary to law. The 4 alleged murderers, Ibrahim Kaloko alias Cartel, Festus Mansare alias Bigman, Alaji Stephen Bangura and Alpha Umaruba alias Maju, are facing multiple offenses ranging from conspiracy to commit a crime, robbery with aggravation, and murder. Police allege that the 4 accused persons brutally murdered Sierra Leone's First Lieutenant General, retired Samuel Umaru Williams, at his Devil Hole residence along the Freetown-Waterloo Highway in the outskirts of Freetown. Recapitulating the additional voluntary caution statement to police following the alleged murder, Detective Police Constable Brahma Koroma, attached to the Criminal Investigation Department headquarters in Freetown, informed the court that he, together with Detective Police Constable Kamara AI, obtained additional voluntary caution statement from the second accused person Festus Mansare. He told the court that accused person Festus Mansare stated that 5 of his co-accused persons entered into the compound of the late Lieutenant General at Devil Hole and climbed the scaffold before entering into the deceased bedroom. Detective Police Constable Brahma Kuruma further stated that accused person Festus Mansare disclosed that upon entering the deceased's bedroom, the late man stood up and confronted them, adding that in the process, the first accused Ibrahim Kaloko Elias Cartel, who was carrying a shotgun, fired the deceased. According to him, Festus Mansare further informed the police that they became afraid, and when they questioned the first accused person, Ibrahim Kaloko Elias Cartel, why he fired the Lieutenant General Umar Williams and he threatened to kill them too. Festus Mansare alias Big Man told police that after the first accused Ibrahim Kaloko Elias Cartel had killed the deceased, they were instructed by Ibrahim Kaloko to cut away the deceased laptop, computer, including 6 mobile phones, which they shared among themselves. The 4 accused person, Alhaji Umar Ba, made it clear in his statement that the first accused person, Ibrahim Kaloko, was staying with him at Texaco Junction in the east end of Freetown and was knowledgeable about the mission to attack the late Lieutenant General Samuel Umar Williams at his residence. At this juncture, the state prosecutor, Augustine Sheku, craved the indulgence of the adjudicating judge, Honorable Justice Manuela Hardin, for an adjournment which was granted. The 4 alleged murderers were represented by Barrister C. Tucker and Honorable Justice Manuela Hardin ordered that they be kept at the country's maximum state detention center at Panemba Road in Freetown. The matter was adjourned to Thursday, the 25th of October this year.
This is Primetime News on AYV Television and Radio. Stay with us through the week. We shall be right back.
The ball was out. Boy, the ball was out. The ball was out, boy.
Not now. I promised to top up Enza today.
Stop complaining and use your AfriCell line to buy us Enza.
My AfriCell line? AfriCell?
Oh yes! With your AfriCell line. To buy Enza, simply dial *161# to access your AfriCell money account and choose bill payment. Then select Enza recharge. Enter your meter number, enter the amount you want to pay, and then enter your AfriCell money PIN to confirm your transaction.
But how can I refill my AfriCell money account?
You can top up your AfriCell money account with no extra charges from any AfriCell outlet near you, or simply at any shop or bank where you see a sign that says AfriCell money available here. Buy Enza now straight from your AfriCell money account at the cheapest cost ever. A price nobody dares to match.
AfriCell, Norway Network.
Welcome back. This is Primetime News reaching you on AYV Television and Radio. We now join our team in McKinney for news in that part of the country.
Thank you. You are watching and listening major highlights making news from the north with me, Abbas Sisi. A budget is an important economic tool that outlines intended expenditure, usually coupled with expected revenue, and this is believed to be an indispensable character in the proper implementation of projects or the smooth running of any institution. Currently, budget hearings are hosted in the respective local councils across the country, and key constituents of such hearings are local councils, civil society, the Ministry of Finance, and among others. For the McKinney City Council budget hearing, we spoke with the Chief Administrator, Daniel Pukumu, and a representative from the civil society, Emilia Django.
The Ministry of Local Government Finance Department instructing us to write to the respective devolved sector heads that they are going to come for budget hearing in McKinney City Council Hall on the 18th. That is why we are here, and we are also able to write to those various devolved sectors, informing them about what we got from the Ministry of Local Government Finance Department in relation to the bilateral budget hearing. The priority areas, as I can draw your attention, we are not taking decisions because we want to take decisions. We look at those policy areas from government point of view. Those policy areas in the place of education, you know how key education is, in the place of solid waste management to be precise, in the place of agriculture, health. So all of those priority areas are there, and a ceiling has already been shown for those areas, and for which the directors or the DMOs of those respective devolved sectors are bound to prepare their annual budget for 2019. And to explain again to the general public what they have done in 2018, leading them from 2018 to that of 2019. And they asked in that correspondence that they should be able to show out 5 deliverables for 2018 and 7 deliverables for 2019 that they are intending to do, and which they are now presenting in the hall, sector by sector. And after which, the council itself that has the mandate to monitor and oversee all the operations of those devolved sectors that are under the councils, we now present the home source revenue generation for, we explain for 2018 home source revenue generation what we achieve and what we intend to do for 2019 as well. We're going to explain all of those ones, and then the total budget ceiling from the government point of view will also disclose to the general public.
Our responsibility for coming to those meetings is for us to look at those budget lines they say they want to develop, and we will ask those questions. Like I told the Ministry of Education, I still have the budget they presented for last year. I still have it, and we can make reference to those. What have you achieved so far? I agree with those people. Myself, I'm a taxpayer. I'm an ordinary citizen, and so sometimes I share concerns. We still have a lot of things happening around Makeni City, and you want to know, people want to ask, what are they doing with our money? And so that's why I also want to encourage other members of the public, when it's time for the budget discussion, do not just leave it in the hands of the MDAs and civil society organizations. You also have responsibility to come. It's an open budget discussion. Come and ask your question.
Coming up in our next edition on Primetime News, we would bring you details on a training centered on female genital mutilation, FGM practice, that was organized by the Council of Churches in Sierra Leone. Keep an eye for this story. Now to the transport sector, and it has to do with the executive elections of the Bike Riders Union. Recently, hundreds of bike riders across the country converged in the southern city of Bo to elect a new national executive that would oversee the activities of the union. Usman Conte from Makeni was elected as vice president of the union. Let us watch the proceedings in the southern city of Bo.
Confidence way they get in me for electing as a vice president, I go do my efforts, and for CC, I work with the bike riders. I believe say the challenges them plenty, but I go name but few. One, I believe say we get challenges of driving license, challenges of transparency and accountability to the members of the bike riders. I believe say the past regime for over 7 years they not ever be accountable to the riders. And we don't council as a team, we go work in the collaboration with all authorities, at least we will be accountable to the riders. The first thing what we get for do, I believe say we get people in our prisons, we get people in bikes the way they are apprehend from the police. We move for me the authorities where they in charge, at least for show we case that we they represent bike riders and we they represent at the right thing.
Well, viewers and listeners, you've been watching and listening major stories making news from the north with me, Abasise. On behalf of our team here in Makeni, we are now leaving you to join our main studios in the country's capital, Freetown.
Thanks to Abbas Sisi and the entire team in McKinney. Let's now go to Africa for some more news. And for that, we start with Nigeria. A former Nigerian pharmaceuticals executive who was implicated in a BBC investigation into the illegal sale of addictive opioids has been arrested.
Chukwuonye Madubuke was detained west of Lagos, close to the border with Benin, police said. He went on the run in May after he was filmed illegally selling codeine syrup to an undercover BBC reporter. Police said he told them he thought he was selling into a genuine businessman and regret not checking his ID. Codeine is a painkiller which is highly addictive and if taken to excess can cause organ failure and trigger schizophrenia. Chukwuonye Madubuke was a business development executive with Enza Pharmaceuticals, who sacked him after the film was aired. Lagos State Commissioner of Police Emohimi Edgal said the arrest was made in the border town of Idiroko in Ogun State.
Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has said that some of the soldiers who entered the grounds of his office last week had wanted to kill him.
At the time, he diffused the situation by ordering them to press up and join in. Mr. Abiy and the soldiers were seen laughing, but he told Parliament that inside, I was very unhappy. Over the past 6 months, he has made some major reforms and said some of the troops wanted to derail them. Many have been surprised by the fact that the Prime Minister's comments this week are quite different to how he responded last week to the incident. Then he was seen laughing and smiling, but he has revealed in Parliament that he was angry and frustrated.
Sudan's former military ruler, Field Marshal Abdelrahman Sumar al-Haddad, has died in a hospital in Saudi Arabian city of Riyadh, the Sudanese presidency has announced.
Many Sudanese remember him as the only military ruler who handed power voluntarily to an elected civilian government. Suwar al-Dahab took power in a military takeover in April 1985, following a popular protest against the government of President Kol Jafar Mohammad Noumeiri. He presided over a transitional government and stepped down in May 1986. Since then, Suwar al-Dahab, who was born in 1935, has assumed the role of an elder statesman in Sudan. He will be buried in the Muslim holy city of Medina.
That's all we can take on news around the continent. Let's now join our team in London for more international news.
Thank you, Freetown. I'm Alpha Jallo with the major international news. President Hassan Rouhani of Iran has said the United States is seeking a regime change in his country. The U.S. is using psychological and economic warfare and questioning the legitimacy of the Islamic Republic to pursue regime change in Iran, Rouhani stated. Tensions have built up between Iran and the U.S. after President Donald Trump withdrew from a multilateral agreement on Iran's nuclear program in May, reimposed sanctions in August, and planning on enforcing additional sanctions targeting Iran's oil sector in November. Under the deal signed in Vienna with the US, UK, France, Germany, Russia, China, and the European Union, Iran curtailed its uranium enrichment program and promised not to pursue nuclear weapons. In exchange, international sanctions were lifted, allowing the country to sell its oil and gas worldwide. At least 22 migrants, including children, have died after the truck they were traveling in drove off a bridge in Turkey. The country's official news agency said 13 people have been injured in the crash and were being treated in hospitals. The Children's Special Needs Foundation CSN Sierra Leone, a charitable organization which aims to build a school in Sierra Leone where autistic children will receive special needs and in-school learning so they can reach the best of their abilities, flourish and feel confident to overcome obstacles in later life. We have in the studio a hard-working lady who is passionate about helping people in need, the founder and CEO of CSN, Agnes McCarthy. Agnes, welcome to AYV. Tell us about your work.
I work in a special school as a teacher. That's my profession.
Okay.
I deal with all different disabilities, mainly autism and challenging behavior.
Now, the question that comes to mind is, why did you start this organization? What's the lead?
Where I went to visit my dad in Sierra Leone, and I met a girl named Sarah, and she was so sweet, but she couldn't communicate. I saw her wandering around, and she looked so neglected, and she had, like, she didn't have no one to look after her, and I felt really bad. So I went and found out this girl needs our help, and how can I do? I tried to communicate with her, but she couldn't respond. So the only way I did, I called her and asked the neighbors if they could help me to see who's this child's mother is, and they couldn't find the mother of the child. So what I did, I communicated to the neighbor to look after the child. So I came back every day when I'm working, putting a smile on these children's face that I deal with every day in London. And I said, why should I not do that to Sierra Leone?
In your own country, yes.
In my own country where I was born.
Yeah.
So I said, I have to do that. Okay. So I decided to set up a charity called CSN Foundation.
Okay, so this is where the journey starts.
Yeah.
And where are we now with CSN?
Where we had a charity status.
Okay, brilliant.
Because I've been going back and forth doing it.
So you're full registered charity in the United Kingdom?
Yes, we're full registered charity in the United Kingdom.
Okay.
And we had a charity status on the 21st of March.
Okay.
And now we've done 2 first events which was successful. So I've been doing a lot of research in Sierra Leone to get more children like Sarah.
Okay.
So I've been working in the community closely with Sierra Leone, in the provinces, in the Freetown and the province, where my aim to create a safe learning environment to teach them basic life skills like carpentry, tailoring, and etc. So, and integrate them in the community so they can feel like they're part of the community and work very close with the family and the community.
So you want to engage the community, you want to do outreach so that people can know about this. You know, a lot of people maybe, that don't necessarily, have an experience about this, so you can share it. That's very, very kind indeed. Let's talk about how you raise funds, because this costs money. Where is CSN going to have the money to build a school to try and support these children with autism?
Well, that's a good question you ask. It's really challenging to get how to do, because it costs money. So far, we're doing fundraising events.
Okay.
This is the first. We've done 2 events which were successful.
Yes.
And the school where I teach, they partner with my charity. They're willing to help the charity, to support the charity to go further. And they're going to be doing outreach program with me, where they will come to Sierra Leone and teach staff there and exchange ideas.
Right. So you have an event coming, fundraising obviously. So when is this event?
On the 21st of October. Everyone to come.
Sierra Leoneans, other nationalities, everyone that is interested, obviously to make a difference, particularly with autism, to come.
Yeah, because we need to know, we need to enlighten people. Not Sierra Leone, this problem is not just Sierra Leone, it's African problem, because they mainly focus on labeling the child. They say this child is autism, they like witchcraft and stuff like that. We need to stop labeling the children and make a difference and work. If we can make a difference here, why can we not make a difference in Africa?
Indeed.
So we have to stop labeling this child.
Thank you so much for for what you're doing.
Please go on the Charity Commission website. This is a fully registered charity. And my if you want to give any information, please go on CSN Foundation website, csnfoundation.com. And
so if you want to support this, you go to your website.
And you can see a donation page there. You can donate or anything you go, if you go clothes, shoes, any books, anything, if you want to help these children. Please contact us. Thank you so much for listening to us.
Thank you very much. This is it for now. You've been watching International News with me, Alpha Jallo from London. Now, let me hand you back to our team in Freetown.
Thanks to Alpha Jallo and the entire team in London for bringing us those international stories. Now in sports, let's join Mohamed Jawad Nyale. You're welcome, Mohamed.
Hello, Tholoma. How are you?
I'm fine.
All right. Now in sports, Sierra Leone and FIFA stakeholders have ended discussions in Zurich. The discussions were centered around the current state of the FA in Sierra Leone and the recent suspension of Sierra Leone from the international stage, and compiled in this report.
The visit to Zurich is a desperate attempt to get the country back on the international stage. Negotiations were surrounded on the state of the FA in Sierra Leone and the recent suspension due to what FIFA described as third-party interference. After almost 2 days of deliberations, both FIFA and Sierra Leone agreed on the following: that they are committed to fighting match fixing and corruption in football. The commitment is part of a long-standing match fixing allegation that has hovered over Sierra Leone football for quite a while. The second agreement is that FIFA will wait for the trial against Aisha Johansson and Chris Kamara to conclude before considering lifting Sierra Leone's suspension. Sierra Leone will send its representative to the Joint Task Force by CAF, FIFA and SLFA to finally wrap up the match-fixing scandal investigation from the 4th to the 9th November this year. FIFA will draw up a calendar of roadmap to normalization. This will include new integrity checks, conduct elections, and revise the SLFA statute to introduce democratic process in the FA. From all the agreed points, there is no guarantee that Sierra Leone's ban will be lifted anytime soon. Mohamed Jawad Nyali, AYV News, Freetown.
Away from Sierra Leone, we go in Jamaica, where Bob Marley is one of Jamaica's favorite sons. But it's the late musician's daughter who is hitting the headlines for her part in the nation's latest sporting success. Jamaica have become the first Caribbean team to qualify for a Women's Football World Cup, and it's Kadela Marley, the firstborn daughter of Bob, who the Reggae Girls have to thank. In 2010, their team ceased to exist, only for Marley to come on board 4 years later as an ambassador and sponsor the Bob Marley Foundation and helped on the 14th around. That turnaround was completed in Texas on Wednesday evening when Jamaica defeated Panama on penalties in the CONCACAF Women's Championship third-place playoff to take Reggae Girls to the next World Cup in France. After the game, head coach Hugh Menzies said, "Big up to Kadela Marley for putting her neck on the line for us."
Oh, thank you very much. So do we, as Sierra Leoneans, have any hope of participating in the 2019 qualifiers?
The hope is slim because the conditions so far FIFA has given us, they are very, very stiff conditions. And from my own perspective, this is not nothing new. This is FIFA's default position. They've been saying this all along. So we went to Zurich, we tried, but unfortunately, we will not be playing football anytime soon.
Okay. Thank you very much for the sports updates. Now, as we plan for a blessed Friday, let's take a look at the weather forecast brought to you courtesy of AYV'S.
Hello, this is Lucy Silla, and today, as every other day, I will be covering your daily weather powered by AYV'S. Now, let's take a look at Salon's weather for tonight. Starting in Freetown, where we'll have rain at 24 degrees. Over at Cayimbo, we'll have a cloudy sky with heavy rain at 22 degrees. Moving to the northern city of Makeni, where we'll have an early rain and overcast of clouds at 21 degrees. Now in Koinadugu, we'll have a cloudy skies during the night at 20 degrees. And over in Koidu, expect little rain with cloudy sky at 18 degrees. Through the night, Kenema will mostly have a cloudy sky at 21 degrees. As we move over to Bo, where we'll be seeing a cloudy sky also this evening at 21 degrees. And down south in Mokaba, it will also be cloudy at 24 degrees. Now, let's take a flight over Sierra Leone for tomorrow's weather. Expect a mostly cloudy day with few showers in Calabar town at 28 degrees. Over in Baylor will be cloudy during the day with rain at 27 degrees. Medina will have a very heavy clouded sky with showers at 28 degrees. And in the town of Kamakura will experience a mainly cloudy day with rain at 28 degrees. Over at Mabruka will have showers with an overcast of clouds at 28 degrees. Jene will have showers during the whole day at 28 degrees. Sablama will experience a cloudy sky during the day with showers at 28 degrees. Heavy clouds expected in Tikonko at 28 degrees. It will be mainly low clouds and showers in Maturu at 29 degrees. And finally, Freetown will experience clouds and rain at 28 degrees. Checking out the winds for tomorrow. Winds will be moving south at 13 km per hour. Humidity is at 85%. This state is high and sea temperature is at 19 degrees. Let's have a look at our 4 days forecast. Friday will mostly have a cloudy day with few showers at a high of 28 degrees and a low of 23 degrees. Saturday will have much of the same with clouds and rain during the day at a high of 28 degrees and a low of 24 degrees. Sunday will see showers late at night with mostly cloudy day at a high of 27 degrees and a low of 24 degrees. Monday will mostly have a cloudy weather with spotty showers during the day at a high of 28 degrees and a low of 24 degrees. Now that is all I have for you today on the daily weather powered by AfriCell. Meet us tomorrow same time on channel 33 AYV TV. I'm Lucy Stila signing off. God bless.
Thanks to Lucy Silla for the weather updates, courtesy of AfriCell. This is the end of Primetime News tonight. Keep sending your messages to us via email to info@ayvnews.com. You can also connect with us online on www.ayvnews.com or download the AYV mobile app from your app store. We will be back again tomorrow with the top stories from across the country, the continent, and the world. My name is Tholoma Sumah. Thanks for watching and listening.
You're watching AYV Television.